Hey everyone, Andrew here. Welcome to episode 9 of the Rewind Entertainment podcast. I'm here with Jason,
What's going on?
Nick,
Hello.
Matt,
Solid.
and Bryce.
Hey, everybody.
All right, with that out of the way, we're going to go to News of the Week with Matt.
Alright, so first thing we got for news of the week, we're gonna go over to some sweet Amazon Prime news. That's not so sweet. You're not gonna be able to pay $20 more for your Amazon Prime. New subscription starting on May 11th is when the first upcharge will begin, and then anything past June 16th, for anybody that's renewing, will have to pay $120 as well.
So what?
Is that to cover all of those Twitch Prime?
That's it. Yeah,
It's covering all the Twitch Prime subs.
It's because of fucking Ninja. That's why.
No, apparently they have a history of it. Apparently Prime started at $80 when it first released. Went up to
$80.
Yeah, $80. We all got in on the $100 area, unless you were a student, which was like $40.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I
when
remember
you're
those days.
yeah, those were the great days of Amazon Prime. But
You wouldn't know about that, Jason.
What, yeah, 10 years ago?
But yeah, no, I don't know.
What you call it, idiot?
I don't know. I mean, I expect this. I expect things like this to get higher in price the later on down the road.
It's called Thanks Trump.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
okay.
Yeah,
So,
no, but,
I don't know. I mean, I
when,
can definitely see an info.
Single-handedly raised the prices. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks Trump.
That was
Trump's like,
Obama.
we're getting the hugest raise in price in Amazon Prime. It's gonna be the greatest.
The worst trade deal ever. So,
Yeah,
mine just renewed. So is
You're at the standard price. So when it renews next year, you'll be higher up.
great.
I mean,
Means I'm
if
canceling
you think
mine.
about it, Amazon has been the
Well,
most.
it says that starting when does it say? While existing Prime subscribers will have to pay the 20% extra starting June 16th onwards.
Yeah. So if yours just renewed, you only paid $100.
I don't know. I think more people use Amazon than they do eBay nowadays, so I can understand them.
I mean,
trying
I mean, they give you so much. I'm sorry.
That's not even a comparison.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying they give you so much in general, just as a platform. You get music, you get movies, or you get Prime, the streaming service for TV shows and
We
movies.
use all the
I
time.
forgot about
Wait a
that,
minute.
yeah.
Is that why you
Exclusive-
got
you
that
get Thursday
Amazon
night-
tattoo?
Thursday night
you
football
mentioned?
screen.
Yeah, I got a Amazon tattoo Prime. It was great.
Now it all makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, they added exclusive Thursday night football games this year.
Really?
So-
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
This past NFL season, it was 9 Thursday night football games they streamed through Amazon.
So
Yeah.
to me, as long as they keep adding these type of features, I can definitely see why they'd ask for that price, and probably even go further if they, become.
Well, I mean, I can't go
monopoly
too much
themselves.
further because right now the month subscription is $155 a year. So I mean, how much more can you really go?
Yeah, there's got to
They're
be
gonna have to
They would
up
just
that.
raise. They'd have to raise both.
Yeah.
yeah, there's
It's
got to
like
be a
Netflix
reason
did.
for
It
the
started off what, $7.99? Now it's up to 13.
right.
So,
Well, they take over Hulu and Netflix. Just add those in there while they're at it.
Funny side note, I got this email from I have Spotify Prime or no, I got this email from Spotify Premium. They said, "Hey, we're partnered with Hulu now. Get Hulu for 99 cents for 3 months, and then after those
Yeah.
3 months, we're just gonna charge you $12.99 for both." And I was like, "I'm doing that."
yeah, I had
So-
to as well.
Well, and it seems to be a common occurrence because PlayStation just hooked up with Netflix to do kind of a similar thing, where if you are a
PS Plus.
PlayStation Plus subscriber, you get 3 free months of Netflix.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna look into that.
Really?
Yeah, so
Have y'all
it's
tried
really, I
PlayStation
think it's
View yet?
everybody trying to combat Amazon, and it's just complete dominance of.
If they were
of
good,
the
they
online
should have.
market.
They should have done that with PlayStation View. Have you any of y'all looked at that?
Yeah, I mean, I have,
actually,
but-
yeah, I've definitely a few friends that have tried it out for a few months. They said it was all right, but I think they ended up going over to YouTube TV.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many services now. So I have Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon. So we probably need to get rid of some of those.
See, and I dropped Netflix out of.
can't.
I dropped Netflix and just stuck with the Hulu and the Amazon, just because it just feels like more value to me.
I mean, Amazon definitely has the most value, just because of
Yeah, absolutely. If I had to pick
the
one, it'd just be
marketplace.
Amazon.
Yeah, if same.
Well, the marketplace plus the video plus, they're adding football games. Like, what are they gonna add next? They continue to improve, while
I wonder
others
what
just
percentage of Amazon Prime users use the total package of like everything.
That is a good
probably
question.
not all of it. Probably not a lot
I
of
would
it.
Well,
say
here-
half probably.
Here's the thing about Amazon Prime: when you link it to your Twitch account, they're giving away free games monthly now too. So
Yeah, but
that's like
they're
another
cheap-
addition.
Cheap indie games though.
Yeah, but that's still that's what PlayStation's been giving out for the past year and a half for
And now
PlayStation
they've
4.
had to like this month they're giving away like 5 games to PS Plus members because
Yeah,
they really
like-
just think that they're losing.
Yeah,
they're losing that audience. Like, oh, hey, we have free games. Well, so does Twitch now.
Yeah, only recently has PlayStation Plus even had like actual AAA games for PlayStation 4 on PS Plus. So, I mean,
Well, it's definitely a good question for our audience to see who all uses everything that Amazon offers.
yeah,
I
we
can
could actually.
say that I personally use everything except music, and it's just because I have Spotify.
Right. I think Spotify is a little bit handles the music better. Because
It's easier for me to use.
right, same.
Well, the thing I don't like about Amazon is I don't know if they do now, but like 2 or 3 months ago, they didn't have a mobile app where you can like Netflix you can use on your phone to watch their services.
No, they
I haven't,
did.
I haven't checked on it in a few months, but I could never find it. So
I'm pretty sure I remember there being one at least on iPhone.
Yeah, I mean,
but I don't know about
that
Android.
I know that they had it last year because when we were traveling a lot, we put Amazon on my daughter's iPad and we downloaded movies from Amazon. And we've had
And
that for over a year.
they have, I know they have Amazon like apps and stuff, but like the streaming service.
Yeah.
I
For
haven't
sure
found
on iPhone. I don't know about Android. I can't say that I've looked.
Yeah, I haven't looked, but I know that they have it on Apple products.
I'd look at that again because either
So-
I just missed it or did something wrong. But yeah, at the time they didn't have it, so
But now they do.
Can't do it.
it was a struggle. Yes.
He was never an Amazon student.
No.
All right, so moving on to some gaming news. We got some Fortnite news. Everybody knows that season 4 is right around the corner, and we've already had some, maybe not leaks, but I guess sneak peeks or previews of what it could potentially be. And it seems to be the overwhelming majority said it's gonna be a superhero themed, which I think is more than confirmed by images that Epic has put out, which is pretty exciting. We also, with that release of news, speculate even more about what the fuck the Meteor or maybe not Meteor is. That's supposedly going to tear down Tilted. I mean, it's just
I hope it fucking
it's
levels it.
just
It
it's just
levels the
building
whole
up and
map
building
get a
up.
new map.
Get a
No,
new map.
I hope it just levels Tilted because half the server going to Tilted ruins the game.
How does it
I
ruin
think
the
it's
game?
fun in there. To be
I like
in
the
solos,
idea.
I think it's fun.
No, well, and because if you drop there, there's 40 people there, and those 40 people get eliminated. 40, 50 people get eliminated within the first 1 minute. And so if you didn't land there, it's PUBG now. Now you're running around and have nothing to do for.
It still has more action than PUBG.
Oh, of
Absolutely.
course it does. Yeah, I agree. Yes, for sure. But it's.
How many times have we landed at Tilted?
I mean, we
And
don't
still
land-
had
As a
action.
squad, as a squad.
We always have
Squad?
action though.
Never. We've never landed at Tilted.
Yeah, and we
That's
always have
because we
action.
We've had you there, and we know we play our advantages. And
Sure,
disadvantages.
right. But regardless, we've never landed at Tilted, and there's been almost every single game that I've played with y'all, we've had action before, I'd say 25 people left,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is a
for
few
sure,
amount
yeah.
of people. But
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, though. 25 people left, you're getting into like the final circle or two left in the game, and we've had at least one group fight.
Yeah, but you could have more. I mean, so much more. You can have more action.
sure,
Than
you
Tilted's
can-
not there. So I think if Tilted's
mean,
not there,
I agree,
it speeds. You get more action throughout the whole game, and not just towards the end, or not at the very beginning.
But see, if you want
Or
that
not
action,
at the
why not
edge of
just land it-
circle.
But if you want that action, why not just land it tilted?
Oh, you shouldn't have to force the land at Tilted to have that kind of action.
Well,
I mean,
you don't have. You're not forced to land it tilted. You can land around tilted. You could
Yeah,
land
there's
it
a
over
lot of
here.
areas around
Yeah,
Tilted.
there's-
Yeah,
I think the main discussion is that maybe there seems to be only one major area, like a school for PUBG, and it's Tilted in Fortnite. There should be multiple areas that are like that to hopefully diversify the gameplay and maybe separate it up a bit.
But there
I think
is. That's the thing I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
The other
like
day when I was trying to get a challenge done, we landed it. Where was it?
Anarchy.
There was fucking 3 teams there every fucking time. There was no challenge that week. It was me trying to do like a week 2 challenge. There was several teams there every time. So I have a hard time being able to back you up when that happens to us consistently when I play with y'all. I can't speak for you when you play because y'all play a lot more than I do, obviously. But that's the experience that I have. Is there's always shit to do, and there's always a fight.
I
Sure,
think
there
there's
may be
always enough fights at the beginning.
4 or 5 minutes, but I mean, in a 20-minute game, sure, it seems like a long time, but it's really not.
Yeah, I think there's enough action around. If you go within a certain radius of Tilted, there's enough action.
And I don't know if y'all had seen this yet. If the second article about the Meteor update, there's a video clip tweeted out by some random guy that doesn't work for Epic of something actually landing and crashing through buildings at Tilted.
Yeah, it's already starting. Pieces of the meteor are starting to break off already, and actually doing damage to buildings.
Yeah,
Really?
So yeah, that was a video clip that I sent in those links. We can attach that in the video, but I don't. Let's see. I feel like if it was that much bigger, like it was as big as it seems, it would have been more than that. And to me, that looks like that could be a landing animation where you just hit the ground.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
like a
So
superhero
it brings
landing.
more yeah, exactly. It brings more speculation to the superhero themed season. Could the meteor just be the beginning of the season where it's just a superhero landing and it brings this plethora of superhero blah 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 to the game? You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. That's one speculation that I have.
Yeah, how is a meteor going to correlate with all these superheroes? Obviously, the Superman thing, whatever, meteor.
Well, it could.
Yeah,
What I'm
but-
saying is that it could be like, I guess the token or the symbol that Fortnite is putting out as they're like the superhero, right? And that's him landing, and that starts the season. And now you're chasing these rewards that are based around this specific thing.
Superhero, yeah.
I can just imagine like
cool,
it's some weird meteor that gives everyone on the map superpowers, and it turns into Saints Row 4, just batshit crazy, where you fly around, run up walls, and
That's,
that'd be so insane.
That would be fucking hilarious.
that would be terrible.
I can
You
only
wanted
imagine.
action, Jason.
Yeah, you want action?
You wanted
Here's a guy
action.
jumping
Asked for this.
500 feet over you.
Not at the cost of a whole new goddamn game.
But
What I have to say about this event though is that the fact that they are really pushing to bring even more new players in and keep the current audience, excited about new content, and they consistently do that. Where compared to PUBG, they're a little late in the game, and it's taken them a very long time to push that content out. Compared to Fortnite, every time we get on, we're almost having to download a few megabytes here, a few here, based off of new content they've added. So I mean, the Epic has a good, I guess, formula right now, keeping everybody interested in the game, keeping new things going, and and listening to the audience going, hey, there's a lot of people landing at Tilted, like Jason mentioned. Is there a way we can split this up? If so, then let's do it in a massive Epic event, and then let's go from there.
See, here's the problem with PUBG. They're trying to add new things when their servers aren't good or the hit detection isn't good. Like, it's still bad. The netcode's still bad. Like, that's
True.
That's the problem with PUBG.
I think the main difference is that PUBG had problems, it wouldn't fix them, and they just left them there. While Fortnite had problems, took the problem out of the game, fixed it, then brought it back with more content, and that was in a week. And PUBG's just now doing it.
Well, no. Here's the problem with PUBG is
Sucks.
like the overall netcode, the desync. Like that's the main problem with it. Like that's not something that they can resolve, like take away, because that's just meaning taking away the whole game. Like that's something that they still need to work on. What can they optimize here? What can they optimize, with all the red zones, which could be something that they just take away to optimize the game. But
I know this number's probably out there, but do we know the number of fall off since Fortnite has blown up from PUBG?
I'm not too sure. It's probably significant. I haven't looked it up, but Fortnite is definitely top of the list right now.
Oh, for sure. Even H1Z1's kind of making a thing because they had a huge update the other day, didn't they?
It's free.
Did
Well,
they?
it's free now. Yeah, it's free now. It was a $30 or what? $20 or
it's
$30
free
game?
now?
Yeah, it's free.
I'd be so pissed if I paid for that game.
I paid for that game. But
It makes so much sense.
Yeah, he has all this anger.
but they
So
just
passive
had a
aggressive
huge,
about it.
yeah, they had a huge update the other day, and they're constantly updating their stuff too now. So it's good that Fortnite's making them step up, just like
Pushing, yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
pushing all the other companies to, hey, you guys can't just put out a beta game, say it's live, or go completely live like PUBG
millions,
did.
and not change nothing. Yeah,
and then
Like,
not
well,
change
okay, so
anything
the
and
thing
not
about
handle the
us-
problems.
The thing about us though is that it technically was early. PUBG was technically early access.
All these
The
games
majority
now
of
are early
time,
access.
Fortnite was never early access. They never called it early access.
100% they did. On your loading screen, it said early access.
Well,
Absolutely.
it's not early access now, is it?
But the thing was, is even
They
the
never
early
changed the
access
the splash
outdid
screen.
PUBG's optimization
I think it did.
upfront. It just
think it did.
it completely flat out outperformed them and still does. I mean, Fortnite's still CPU heavy, which is kind of weird. In my opinion, I think they would hopefully rely on the graphics cards themselves, but who knows? And it kind of goes. I mean, even the game I played that's been around for like 9 years, World of Tanks, they've actually found a way to have it where some of the graphics rendering is done on their servers first to help out with machines, for players that may not have machines that can handle, those high-end graphics, but still be able to play with them.
And if that's a thing, why isn't literally everybody doing that?
I have no idea. I
It
guess
really depends on the game.
company.
It really
Yeah,
depends
and
on the
the only
development
thing I can think of is
style.
it's more expensive.
Yeah, that too, and how much they can, how many resources they can dedicate to doing that.
Yeah, so World of Tanks has groups or sets of groups all over the world, so they're able to just kind of distribute their funds, and each group does a certain thing. So I mean, they may have it where overseas handles the rendering on their servers and then sends it over that way. I'm not sure, but that was one of the things that they really harped on, going, hey, even if you have a low end rig, you're still able to play as best of graphics as you can, and we're going to help you out with that. And that was their way of optimizing the game.
I mean, the main thing we have to understand is, out of all of these battle royale games, Epic is the only like AAA developer. That's why their game's so polished,
They had the experience. Bluehole didn't. I don't know how much experience that they have, and I don't know what else they've built.
No, they've literally turned themselves into, quote unquote, the PUBG company. That's the name that they use now. So it's just like, they've only made that game. They're only going to mess with that game. But Epic has had this huge track history of Unreal, God of War, Bulletstorm, all those other games that were
They even helped
AAA
build
games.
Warframe.
I mean, anyone can license their Unreal Engine, so I'm sure that's what Warframe did. So, yeah, I mean, they have.
To help build Fortnite.
The only
I
thing
hope-
that bothers me about Epic is they quit on a game recently, and that kind of bothers me.
Paragon?
From a player perspective, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember when we tried that?
That makes them very untrustable to me. That you
Yeah,
could just
I
do
agree.
that. So that's the only issue I have with Epic.
They
as a
pulled all
company.
their Paragon people to work on Fortnite.
To work on Fortnite.
which
They
is
saw a money
cool.
grabber.
But
That's
you
all I
don't
saw.
just get rid of a game.
Yeah.
You're just
That
like,
game still
"Eh."
had a pretty big following.
And it was a great
Decent.
concept,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
It was
It
fun.
wasn't a game. It wasn't a game for me, but I think that it was a MOBA that a lot of people would have liked to play rather than League or Dota or whatever. And they were just like, we're done.
Yeah.
What?
Agree.
So it just kind of bothers me. So
And
I don't trust them 100%.
Fortnite Save the World. I guarantee it's gonna do the same thing eventually.
Yeah,
So
why not?
I mean, that's
Nobody fucking plays it. I mean, not nobody. I won't say nobody. I'd say about 10%, if that, play of the game base in Fortnite play Save the World.
I would say it's a pretty big
Generous.
number.
It's probably
very
generous.
Yeah.
So
So
that's just my opinion.
agreed.
But all right, moving on because we spent a lot of time on that.
Okay, Fortnite.
Next, we're gonna stick with Fortnite, sort of, more with the company Epic and their pending lawsuit against a 14-year-old gamer. And I don't know. He's a cheater, and they're suing him, and it's still going, and I don't really get it. I guess I don't know. It's just so weird to me that a company like this is still pursuing action.
I personally, if he was smart enough to hack the code and rewrite it just so that he could play it the way he wanted to play it, I'd be hiring his butt in no time. Especially at 14.
That's
smart.
the
That means
thing.
he's smarter than most programmers nowadays.
Exactly. That's the kind of thing. You hire someone that breaks your code.
I mean, that's what
Make your
Apple
game
does.
better.
They hold that competition to hack their computers every year in Vegas. And the people that can do it get hired.
Well, what he did also, he has a YouTube channel, and
Yeah. So yeah, I have
yeah.
a list of things that he did. If you want me to
Okay,
read them
good.
off here. Yeah, created multiple accounts, cheated on all of them within the game. He streamed the exploited hacks and promoted it on his channel.
And showed people.
They sent him a cease and desist letter. He posted a video where he publicly laughed at the cease and desist letter. Then, after acknowledging and understanding the cease and desist letter, he continued to cheat on the servers. And then he fraudulently claimed he played without his parents' permission in the. I guess they have some sort of standard contract that you click OK when you buy it or whatever. It basically says don't cheat, don't do this, like most companies would. And he wasn't able to comprehend the information because he's a minor, is their argument. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
He knows how to play the system.
No, he's a
little
twat.
bird.
He's a complete twat. And he's trying to get away with something. Obviously,
You heard
I
it here,
think it's a little
folks.
ridiculous.
He's trying to get internet famous really quick. Not that he probably wasn't
Which
already.
was, well, I doubt that he was, or he wouldn't have acted like this because he knows where it would have got him.
No, I believe he probably did get famous a little bit, but
No,
he's
I
so
agree, but I'm
young.
saying
But
if he was already internet famous, he wouldn't have done this because he would have known how fucking hard they come down on you.
Well,
Yeah.
they also sued a guy, and he settled out of court for a fee of $5,000 or something, and to promise to never cheat on any Epic games again. And if he does, then he should sell cheats, and every cheat that comes out again that he makes is $5,000 per count they find.
So I guess this goes back to like, I don't really trust Epic. Like, are you really that like? Is it really that big of a deal that you need to sue this guy like in court? You can't just ban him from your game.
well, so I think they're trying. It sounds like they're trying to make a statement because remember all the PUBG cheaters? They banned them, but they were still everywhere. Like no matter
they just
what.
kept coming
It's
back.
not
They
about
weren't
the
being
money.
It's about the message. So
I
think that's
this is a
their
little
way.
far. I think this is a little much. Like I think that they're being like, I guess a little childish is the word. I can't come up with anything else besides that. It's just like really, you really need to do this. You need
I
to
mean,
sue a
okay, so
14-year-old
here's the thing
How many
about
other cheaters? The difference between this and PUBG is how many cheaters have they claimed to ban or that we faced that we know are cheating?
they've claimed to
Here's Fortnite.
ban like what 50,000 that one time at least
Okay, how many? Well, in PUBG or in Fortnite?
in PUBG.
Exactly. How many in Fortnite have we faced or that they claimed is an issue?
Here's the thing. He is blatantly. I mean, they've given him warnings. They've sent him a cease and desist. They've done everything that you would normally do to prevent a cheater from going any further. He is blatantly playing a system that he knows they can't do anything about.
Sure,
So like you said, he's a twat.
he is. Agreed.
Let's make an example of this twat going, "Hey, you want to play your little game? Good luck."
Okay,
And
so
they will try him as an adult, going, "Look, you're smart enough to
Well,
do this, this,
you
this, and this.
you can't try him as
can't
an adult. He's 14.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm not gonna go on that topic. You can try him as an
There's
adult.
ways
As long
of
as you can
trying
find-
someone as an
Yes.
adult.
As
I
long as you
guarantee
can
you they won't be able
find-
to try him adult with this specific case. He
you
won't
never
get
know.
he won't get released from the case because he's a minor. But they won't try him as an adult because of this case.
A judge
they're
can
trying
do
to
what he
get- they're-
wants to do, and he can do what he needs
Well,
to do to
they
make
can't
sure that
just-
this guy
they
is made
can't-
an example of.
They can't do what they want to do. That's why we have
No,
law.
he-
But
He
they
can find the way to try him as an adult, used off of the information that they've done, all of the evidence, which he has video evidence of him doing it to millions of people on YouTube. He's got everything blatantly going.
But
F
that's
you
not a
guys,
reason
the
to
middle finger.
try him as an adult. There's a reason to not let him off the hook because he's a minor. But
Well,
there's nothing in this case that makes it he needs to be tried
either
as an adult.
way,
It's not
the
murder.
reason
It's not
the
grand
reason they're
theft.
not giving up on this kid is because of his approach.
So go at him a different way. Don't sue him. Go at
Well,
your
I'm
YouTube
going to sue
channel.
him. You were doing
Ban his-
exactly what
Well,
I
but
said.
you're not
cannot
listening.
do in my terms when
Right.
you signed up for the game.
In fact,
Yes,
you're arguing with
I
a
am going to go
14-year-old.
against you for that.
How big of a man are you? How big of a company are you?
I can
It's
see
the
you
only way
losing
to go at
hardcore
somebody
in court, dude.
is to.
I'm not going to go any further with law and stuff like that.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is go at him a different way. He's putting it on YouTube. Contact YouTube. Go to his YouTube account. He's putting it on Twitch.
Yeah, but he just
Ban
makes
him on
another one.
Twitch.
You keep making
you
more
can't-
and
you
more
can't
and
do
more
that.
until
That's
you
not how
hit him
Twitch and YouTube work.
personally.
So
If you
here,
hit him personally, he will not stop because he thinks it's a game. He thinks it's fun.
here's the thing about banning people on accounts or games that are free. They're just gonna keep making new accounts. So I kind of understand why they're trying to attack him personally. Like with PUBG, I don't think they cared as much because those people were buying new PUBG codes and giving them money still. With Fortnite, it's free to play. You can make a new account and it doesn't really hurt them until you like try to attack them in real life. So I kind of understand kind of both sides. I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but that's probably why they're going about it this way.
You have to hit him personally. That's all I can say on this. Otherwise, like Rich said, he will keep making more and more and more and never stop, and will continue to go against the law that they put out for the game.
All right, so we're gonna move on to TV shows. We have an anime-inspired Star Wars animated series featuring Poe Dameron and BB-8. It's gonna be called Star Wars Resistance. I don't know how I feel about this. It's gonna be on Disney XD.
It's gonna be bad.
So, but
I mean, that's how I feel, but I mean,
Well, so let me tell you why it's going to be
why
bad.
don't you tell me
Tell
why?
us.
All right, so the first like kind of cartoon thing that came out was Star Wars Clone Wars. It was a 2D animation movie that people didn't really like. So it then slowly transitioned into the 3D animation on Cartoon Network, I believe. I think it was Cartoon Network. I can't remember where.
That or XD or whatever that.
Well, no. So it wasn't a part of Disney when it
Clone
first
Wars?
started.
Is that
Yeah,
what
the
you're talking
Clone
about,
Wars.
Clone Wars?
Yeah, Clone Wars did not start or started before Disney bought out Star Wars. Like that whole thing.
Was it Tsunami or was that?
I can't exactly remember the network. I want to say Cartoon Network. But anyway, so it started. It had a run. It had people loved it. People loved the Clone Wars. Fans of Star Wars loved the Clone Wars. It brought backstory, but between episode 2 and 3, everyone liked it. After that show was over, that same team then started Star Wars Rebels, which just ended its run, I believe, on the same Disney XD network. People hated it. It was considered too kid friendly. There wasn't enough deep story arcs in Rebels for them to like it, or at least hardcore Star Wars fans to like it. Like they thought it was too focused to kids.
So
Now,
is this why they're pushing for those standalone movies now, like Rogue One and Solo and whatever
no,
else
I
they're
mean,
trying
I'm
to do?
sure. I mean, Disney just wants to get money wherever they can. So with Rebels gone now, they want some sort of show, some cartoon
Right.
show that to, I guess, fill the void. And this is
Yeah.
their
Surprised they haven't
idea.
done a Netflix one.
Well, that's the thing. I think Clone Wars finished on Netflix,
So
but I can't remember.
Star Wars: The Clone Wars was on Cartoon Network, TNT, and Netflix.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think Disney's just trying to fill a void now that Rebels is done, and I see here that David Filoni, who worked on Clone Wars and Rebels, are gonna work on it as well. Is gonna work on this new project as well. It's just I think the way
So I
They're-
don't think it's going to be bad. I think it's going to be set for a specific audience, and I don't think we're the specific audience. I think it's
With
supposed to be
the
for
other-
a younger audience that is trying to enjoy Star Wars without that deep character development and the grueling fact that you're in a ginormous civil war.
Well, here's
You know
the
what I mean?
thing. Here's the thing about animations and hitting both audiences at the same time. You know who does that really well? Pixar. Pixar does that very well.
True.
They get both sides of the spectrum, I guess the adults and the children to like the same movie. Like they
Sure, but
give
the
something for
difference-
everything
Yeah,
to
not just the
everyone.
difference-
women and the children.
Exactly.
The difference is that they're one-offs. They're one-off movies, or they're sequels that are also kid-friendly. This is a fucking saga of war and bloodshed and backstabbing. It's not supposed to be for kids.
Done in a 2D
Well-
cartoon.
But here's the thing. They did all like what do you mean by it's not supposed to be for kids? Like,
So the original movies, so right, the original ones that released,
right?
they weren't for children. That's not what it was.
Uh-huh.
That's true.
The next three they released were more
Very
aimed towards
kid-friendly.
children, and
Correct.
children liked them. We did not.
But they were also brighter colors. The content themselves were very politics, left and right. I mean, at least the Phantom Menace was for me, up until the point that Darth Maul fight. The rest of it was all politics for the most part. So I don't know if I can say Phantom Menace was towards kids. I
It
don't think
was
kids
because they brought in Jar Jar.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the Jar. Ugh.
That's I mean
Jar Jar,
the whole-
use the boomer.
Yeah, that's the whole
Not
the whole
best character in
Gungan
Star Wars.
the whole Gungan race was. Oh look, they talk funny. That's all it was. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't meant to provide any anything deep to the movie. It could have, and I wish it would have, but it wasn't. It was just there to be funny, and they talked funny, and they acted funny.
Sith
That was
Lord
what
Jar
it
Jar.
was,
Lord Jar Jar.
right? So and
But
then
but
they
for, so
released
for the
more.
first two Cartoon Network ones though, there was nothing wrong with the medium though, right? There was no complaints about that. It
No, there
just
was
this
nothing
redone-
wrong with the 3D animation. They actually had deep, thought-provoking stories
In which one?
in Clone Wars. Clone Wars.
Clone
Right.
Wars.
So
My-
the
no,
difference
what's
between
happening-
that and
And
the second
Rebels
one- the
is
second one was
Disney.
an XD. Yeah, so the
Is Disney.
The second one was like a Cartoon Network exclusive, right, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Clone Wars was not only on Cartoon Network; it was on Tsunami, which Bryce you said. Then it was on TNT. It didn't have to be super childish and kid friendly, and it was on Netflix. They could do whatever the fuck they wanted.
No,
They weren't
yeah, no,
contained-
right.
They weren't
That-
contained to this.
but that's
PG
why
rating.
people are not liking Rebels as much, and that's
Right,
why
and
they
that's-
now
and-
think. Or I'm assuming that those same people are not gonna like Resistance as much because
And
of
those
the
same people
Disney
are us.
influence. Yeah,
Those same people. My little brother fucking loved Rebels. He's like, yo, fucking cool. Star Wars on the TV. I can watch it all the time. It's animated. Awesome. It's not meant for us. It's meant to get those younger generation deeply involved in the Star Wars. That's what I think.
but so here's the thing, though. It's kind of meant for us in the way of people who want to reach out and go
Interconnect the movie.
Yeah, interconnect the movies because this is now canon. this is going to be
Right.
a part of the Star Wars universe. There's those people out there who want to know every little detail. And now
Right.
this is going to be a part of that, and they could possibly get disappointed in this new thing, just like they were disappointed in Rebels.
If Disney was
that
smart, they would go with the same formula they did with the very first one with Clone Wars.
they
Which-
can't do it. It's on Disney
Why?
XD. They absolutely cannot do it.
It's just too violent.
It's
And
they're
that's the
held to
inherent
these
problem.
restrictions.
That's
They're
the
held to
inherent
restrictions
problem.
when they're on Disney XD that they aren't on TNT and Tsunami. I mean,
So,
Tsunami had
Disney
cuss
owns
words
Pulp
when I
Fiction
was a
now,
kid.
so should be no
I
problem.
mean, but no, like on Tsunami, they had cuss words when I was a kid, and I was like, ooh, ooh.
That is
my
true.
mom
They
better not
did a
see
little
this.
limit,
You know
just
what I'm
like
saying?
FX,
Yeah.
is allowed to do their little thing at night.
So
Sometimes.
it's just they have different guidelines that they had to follow, and the first animated series
Well,
wasn't held to those guidelines.
if that's the thing, then I would hope that if anything that showed up on XD, like Rebels, would not be considered canon, but just for fun, for the kids. I get it, and that they would also put in some effort to put in stuff like they had for Clone Wars, for us that want, they're not going to
Something
make
deeper.
full-fledged movies, but they're going to be much deeper. They're also going to be canon. They're also going to interconnect the movies in between. What happened in between Clone Wars and the third movie? What happened?
But it's also
So,
like they have so
they
many
have a market
channels.
for both.
They
and
have
it's
so many
weird.
channels too. They could
Yeah.
find a way to put it on ABC or whatever else they own. They could find a way to get more adult themes into it or more deep,
and they can
thought-provoking
make
stuff.
shows. They can make a show that maybe for each season they focus on just one character. So like the new DJ Splicer guy, right, from the latest movie, they could go down his route, going, "Hey, what did he do up, this entire time?"
You
Up
can't
until
do
the
that
movie.
on Disney.
Right, and we all agree that the
I'm
problem
saying
is
that there's
Disney.
I'm saying that
Disney
there's a
XD.
market.
Yeah, I agree.
And-
The problem is
and
the network
Disney
that it's
needs
on,
to
not the
capitalize on-
premise of the show.
Yeah, but Disney needs to capitalize on both. Going
I
and
don't think
state
they
it going,
can.
hey kids, if you're watching XD, this is for you, and if you're watching Toonami or Adult Swim at night, this is for you.
Yeah, right. But it's just so
as long
I
as you
really
can
think
separate
that
the parents and stuff should be fine, and they allow
Right.
their kid to do what they want to do.
right.
That's on them.
I want to say to the people that want to have this because this is going to be canon. The people that want the story to connect the dots, you just have to take the story for what it is and not pay too much attention to how it's presented. I mean, that's the only
That's
thing you
true.
can do.
That's
I
true.
mean,
Yeah,
I
but
think that
mean,
here's the premise right here. Young resistant pilot named Kazuda Ziono, whose task with spying the First Order as the organization becomes more and more of a threat. So that's the very general premise that we get of what this is supposed to be. Cool concept, right? It's a cool concept to me. I like that they're gonna send a new character that's to spy on the First Order, and it's gonna get more in depth with what they're actually doing. But if you're gonna watch it to be another movie that we'd go see in the theaters, it's not gonna be that.
Yeah.
So
Well, just personal opinion. I don't give a crap about Poe Dameron. He is just a complete rip-off of Han Solo, and he claims to be the best pilot. And I'm like, no, stop, just stop, Poe.
but even Finn said that's one hell of a pilot.
That's one hell of a pilot.
Because he hasn't ridden with Han Solo.
Or Luke
Hasn't
Now
Skywalker.
he's dead.
But
He
he
definitely
never
isn't
will.
the latter.
And he never will.
He never will.
He never shot wombats
He'll never-
back home.
Yeah.
Ooh, there
He
you
never
go.
shot
He'll never be
wombats
able
at his T-16.
Finn doesn't know
Okay.
crap because he was brainwashed by the First Order. I mean,
There.
I thought
There
that was
you go.
swamp rats, not wombats.
It's Womp
There we
Rats.
go.
Womp Rats.
to dumbass.
Nobody was
hey,
right.
and
Okay.
if you ever get a
Dang.
chance, look at the I think it's the silver copy of like the 1970s like on theater footage, deleted footage of Star Wars for that piece. They have an entire like 10 minutes of footage of him and his buddy and how they actually, used to race each other. And that's, instead of just him going to the base and going, oh yeah, this guy used to shoot womp rats all the time. He let him have a ship.
Yeah, they're no bigger than 2 meters.
No bigger than 2 meters.
So she
But
said,
I do highly suggest that
Luke,
if you can find the
Luke, can I
footage.
talk to you? Can I
watch
talk to you
that.
for a second? I really didn't appreciate what you did back there. You embarrassed me in front of everybody.
Yeah.
It's pretty rude. I didn't appreciate it.
Huh?
Well, don't be wrong then. You won't get embarrassed.
I thought he was talking to Bryce for a second. I was like,
No,
wait,
he was.
Hey, Bryce.
I-
Bryce?
Yeah.
I did too.
Nah, he was doing the Family Guy bit.
Come on, guys, you fucking
I
losers.
know,
Anyways,
Andrew. God.
Two people did not know, so I had to clarify. The issue.
Bryce, can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah.
All right, moving on. All right, so next we're moving on to some MCU. No, we're not fucking talking about Infinity War. Don't ask. Tune in next time. We're talking about Black Widow. Black Widow it's finally its turn to get its own solo movie. And it has to be a female director. Or so Marvel Studios says. Marvel Studios has been looking for a director to break its quote-unquote glass ceiling with Black Widow and has been meeting with filmmakers such as Denez Gamez Ingurvan. I don't know why she needs 3 names.
Nailed it.
Okay.
Yep.
The Turkish movie Mustang, Chloe Zhao, the writer, and Ama Asante. All right, okay. Sure, whatever. Amongst several others, the research is still ongoing, according to resources. So, why does it have to be a female director? Questions.
Because Wonder Woman.
Bryce.
Because
All right,
Wonder Woman.
So I'm gonna put it out there. I'm not trying to be sexist or anything.
Sexist.
He's gonna be sexist.
Here.
The dirty dishes and the bacon.
Here-
It's
Here's
like
my,
a
And the
thing.
here's my
sandwiches.
thoughts on this.
When someone says, "I'm not racist," but
I totally get it. I knew you were
That's
doing
exactly how I started the
But
conversation.
here's the thing. It seems like Marvel is going way the hell out of their way to just make this to have a female director. And I'm not against any of the ones they're looking at. I'm not against any female director at all. But shouldn't you pick the correct director, and whether male or female, transgender, whatever you see yourself
Whoa,
as?
conversation.
Yeah, no, whatever you see yourselves as.
We'll talk about
As
Jason
long as
like that.
you can portray the character in the proper manner and tell the proper story, I don't care who you are. That's my personal opinion on it.
So, did Wonder Woman have a female director?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why. That's
Okay,
I
so
was-
No,
they
that's
wanted to
literally why.
basically capitalize it on it and try to show up DC, which that was some of their most
Which
popular.
they've already done for 10 years.
No, but DC put out a female-led movie with a female director, and Marvel hasn't done that yet. So they're like, hey, fuck you guys, we're gonna do it too, and it's gonna be better.
I don't think Marvel should follow anything DC's done at all.
Well,
So-
they did one good thing.
I think
They
they're just trying to
They
outshine.
just have to do it better.
Yeah, that's just an outshine thing. It's weird. I mean, it's the same. I have the same thing for when they decide to do a reboot of a movie. Let's go with Ghostbusters, right? We're just gonna put an all-female cast in there because we think, girl power. Cool. But
Well-
the movie still has to be good. You can't just put
I
an
don't
all-female
think that's why they
cast
did
and not
that for
have any.
Ghostbusters.
Oh, here we go. Here
Well,
we
we're not
go.
gonna- we're
But
not gonna get
and
into
then
that,
I'm gonna go on we'll go
You've
from
offended
there.
Matt's
Ocean's
ovaries.
Yes.
Say Ocean's 8, right? So we're trying to branch out on the new, or branch out on the
way
Ocean
back.
series, which we're trying to do a prequel now, and we're trying to say that this is what his sister did, and his sister had an all-female cast.
It's just
Okay.
2018. Everything needs to be equal, so they're trying to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's the proper way of going about girl
I
power,
agree.
though. I think it should be write a good story for a character. If it's played by a woman, fine. I don't care. As long as the
And-
story's good about her and she can play it well, I'm game.
I'm gonna piggyback off that actually. I'm gonna
Yeah.
piggyback off that. They do that in comic. They're starting to do that in comics too, and it bothers me.
Yes,
So
Iron
they're-
Man was one of the first ones, wasn't it?
Well, it's just like now, and not that I care because I liked Michael Morales, but they made Spider-Man black. Okay, like that's fine. Why not just make a new black superhero that's his own identity and it's not taking over something else?
Because it won't get the recognition that Spider-Man.
But see, and I think that's why they don't always work out as well. Is they're like, well, we can't make this unique without doing the same thing or taking over a thing that's already been done.
Yeah.
And that's
I mean,
that's why
unless-
that's why they don't succeed to me.
Well,
If
I mean,
you
I guess
make something unique,
in the
put that
70s,
out and let people love that.
if you think about it, I think it was in the 60s and 70s when they brought out Power Man and Black Panther. But what was awesome was that they were new characters. They weren't copying anything like you were saying, right? They weren't copying that. They were their new characters, and they represented the time period.
Right.
And they've continued to evolve as they go. Cool. Let's create some new characters with the current time period and continue with that, which they've done some.
Or don't, and just make a good Black Widow movie, and it doesn't have to be a statement piece. Just
Exactly.
make a good movie, and then it'll make the statement for you. You don't have to put the statement in before the movie comes out.
I think we're both on the same page here. Where I think we had the conversation with Superman, right? You didn't really quite like Superman because of his he just didn't have anything that drew your attention to him.
Well, he has a push to win button.
Yep, that's
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
So it all comes down to the history, the backstory, the ability to create the character, and any director can do that. Female, male, whatever gender you want to classify
Apparently
yourself
not,
as.
because all the Superman movies suck. But anyways, go on.
You should not get the job because you are a certain sex or a certain race. You should get the job because you're qualified. And that goes for anything in life whatsoever.
And
So
it's weird that we push for that equality, but yet we're seeing this type of trend in movies and in comics.
Well, and so I think go ahead, Andrew. You haven't been.
Well, okay, so here's my kind of thought on why new characters haven't been created. It's because they've exhausted a lot of ideas already, in a sense.
And
like
powers.
they can't, and weird powers. They've gone to Norse mythology. They've gone to, Asian, Egyptian stuff. Yeah, they've done a lot of different types of powers or abilities that now they can't think up of anything, and a lot of people just, hey, now I have super strength, just like 50 other superheroes. So their way of getting in new characters is killing off the originals and saying, oh, here's the new Spider-Man. You already know his powers, but this person's different because their backstory's different. They grew up this way. That's how they're trying to tweak it, because I think they've ran out of new ideas for new superheroes. So
works for 6 issues and they're done.
There's new ideas all over.
Right. It's good. It's going to take a little bit longer.
It's easier to not do it.
It's just like in the film industry right now. There's more remakes or sequels than there has been ever before. Like or at least mainstream wise, with who wants to see a movie about Rampage? That's an old concept of a video game. They couldn't think of any. Yeah, I'm just saying things like that.
The reason you want to see it is because The Rock is in it.
and the remake to Jumanji.
The creatures look awesome.
All right, that one I didn't.
Jumanji was a good remake.
Well, actually, apparently,
it was a sequel.
Well, yeah, a sequel,
which is cool.
Yeah,
but no, I wasn't a sequel, was it?
No, it was a sequel.
Really?
Yeah, because they
or a remake or whatever,
Yeah, no, it was a sequel. They they mentioned Robin Williams. They basically said that the game transformed into nowadays games, right? It turned into a console game.
That's so much more unique than Ghostbusters that came out. The last Ghostbusters that came out.
Right. So that whole idea is capitalizing on the name. They capitalized on the name Jumanji. Morales capitalized on the name of Spider-Man. That's the day and age that we're in. They're making new ideas is a lot harder than rehashing the old ones and tweaking it a little bit.
But the thing with Jumanji is it led up to there being a sequel.
Right, and I'm not saying there shouldn't be sequels for things, but that's just the day and age that we're in. It's easier to capitalize on an already well-known brand or name.
Instead of doing that, why not be like this new movie that's coming out? It's called Crazy Rich Asians. Has a completely Asian cast.
But it's a white person movie.
Why is it a white person movie?
Because it has every single character, caricature type person that a white person movie had, 2-3 years ago, in every
British
comedy movie, rom-com,
an all African American movie, and became American made. It failed. The British version was way better.
What I'm trying to bring up with the Crazy Rich Asians is there's been talks about underappreciated or underutilized Asians in Hollywood.
No,
Right, and yeah, I think
We'll make our own movie. It'll be all Asians. Okay, cool. Like that's what you need to do. If someone's not representing you or something's not doing what you want to do, like under
yeah, then go
Asians
do
in
your
Hollywood,
thing.
Make
My-
a movie that only is an Asian set movie, right?
But that's
And
not what
just
Hollywood
have
gets upset
Asians.
about. People get upset by whitewashing.
Yeah,
Taking The Last Samurai and putting
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise as a
Right.
Damn good movie
No,
though. Show
I
us some
agree.
Or The Great Wall with Matt Damon. That's what people are mad about.
I agree, but if they're gonna do that and they're
Last
not gonna
Samurai
hire
was a great
Asian
movie, though.
actors,
Yes. it was.
go make a movie where they can't do that.
because they're Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
That's why.
But think about Last Samurai though. Tom Cruise was playing an American.
Yes, I know.
military
We're
guy,
just
so that-
making
But
fun
no,
of
Great
it.
Wall on the other hand, yes, completely whitewashed. That was
Or Prince of Persia
awful.
with Jake Gyllenhaal. How about that one?
So, but
I mean, that was good though.
you know, I
It was
liked when I a kid.
okay.
It doesn't hold up, but I liked it when I was a kid. But the thing about like that kind of stuff is, I mean, what character are you gonna get that's gonna draw? They do those people because it's gonna draw. It's gonna draw
Well,
a crowd.
The problem is that the majority of the Asian actors have been.
Easy now.
I'm saying it because it's been in the news a lot. Lately.
Half of me is offended.
The other half of me is proud.
have been pushed aside. I mean, there's a lot of wonderful Asian actors that just doesn't get the recognition. If you can think about it, what are the top 5 Asian actors you can name offhand?
That
Jackie
guy
Chan,
lost.
Jet Li, Chow Yun Fat, Bruce. Oh, there's a rhetorical.
No, go.
My bad.
Sorry, go ahead. No, I want
Brandon
you.
Lee.
I was just making.
The best one ever is
Brandon Lee, the son. God, come on. Then he's Asian. If you call me Asian, I'm half. Then he's Asian.
I call you white, but that's a different podcast.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
go over
Okay.
that later.
Oh, okay.
No, Donnie Yen.
We need
Donnie
Corey
Yen
on that
forever.
podcast.
Donnie Yen
Jackie
is my
Chan,
favorite.
Jet
So,
Li, Bruce Lee. I'm at
You
4.
can't do it.
Jenner.
And Eddie Murphy and
Chow Young Fat.
Chow Yun Fat. Okay, but think about it. I can only name 5.
But those aren't going to be roles that are going to be lead actor roles.
Well, that's the problem.
Well, that's the thing. They already made their own lead actor roles with those old kung
but
fu
they're
style
making-
movies.
Yeah,
And-
but they're not making for the Western audience.
Right, and I don't think they want to, which is I
The
think is
problem-
fine. This new movie, Rich Crazy Asians, is meant to grab the money of the white people.
Wait, this is a real thing?
No,
Yes.
look it up. Yes, they literally have a gay Asian character. They have the Asian best friend, and then
What is this?
the
Fresh
whole.
Off the Boat TV series in a movie? What?
No, it's not fresh off the boat. Like it's just
Fresh Off
hey.
the- a great TV
Oh,
show.
what is that supposed to mean?
No, there's a TV show called Fresh Off. the
Yes,
Boat.
there is a.
And it's fucking hilarious.
Just like Blackish. I mean, they're going
Not
to the
so funny.
stereotypes and stuff, but the problem is in America we're not making movies for lead Asian actors at all.
Yeah,
Downright,
so go back to China.
there are none of those compared to over there where they show all of ours plus theirs.
The
No
Rich
problem.
the Rich Crazy Asian movie. I think the main mother is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yes, she is.
Lady, if that's
So,
if I can say that.
my
See,
point
but
is,
we can't say her
and-
name because we don't remember it.
We don't remember her name.
So,
Yes.
my point is, regardless of whether it's the same type of movie as all rom-coms ever, I think it's not a point here. An Asian writer wrote a film specifically for Asian people, has an all Asian cast.
It's not for.
I don't
not
feel
for
like it's
people at all.
for Asian people though. I feel it's meant to grab in a white
I don't-
audience.
No,
Andrew did not
when I
ask to
say
be represented in
I
this.
didn't mean it was for
It's not for me. It's
Asian
for
people
y'all.
to watch. It's for Asian actors to
It's
play
not-
in. That's what I mean
you
by
all-
it's for Asian.
Okay,
people.
okay.
Not for Asian people to watch. No, I don't
But-
think that Asians are gonna watch this movie in all over Asia. I just
Because-
think that this is
Let me tell you this: how many Asians freaked out that I know freaked out when they saw Crazy Rich Asians? 0. How many white people did I hear say, "Hey, look at this trailer"? At least one, aka
The
Matt's
The
wife,
only
Worry.
Asian person you know is your mom.
and she probably doesn't even know about the movie. She's too busy looking at Netflix and saying, "Look at these Far East shows that you're watching."
Dishonor to the family.
I mean, what I still think there's a problem in the movie industry with that anyway, though. If you think about it, all of the actors that we did name off, what do we know them primarily for?
Kung Fu.
None of them are about drama. None of them are about horror films.
Jackie
Actually,
Chan.
you need to see The Foreigner though. Watch The Foreigner.
But it still has kung fu. I mean, it's
Well, I would
all
call
of them that we've watched has
Kung
the
Fu is not
stereotype.
like a real term, but okay.
Uh,
It's like
You
martial
said-
arts.
Make it racist. Look at this
Martial
guy.
arts.
There you go, bud.
Sexist and racist? Oh, we gotta replace
You know
that.
the
See, I didn't
Bryce.
say that. That's all Matt.
You might as well.
But think about it. All of the actors that we named off
Make up.
are known for martial arts. If they weren't good at martial arts, we would not know them. They
That's
would
not
not
true.
show up
Donnie
in
Yen's
Star
It's
Wars.
not. They're not even. Most of the
Donnie
main
Yen show.
Asian
They would not
actors we
show
know
up in
aren't good at
Western
martial arts.
films. Let me put it that way.
I don't know. I think a lot of these points that I'm trying to make are portrayed well in the Netflix series Master of None. I think Aziz Ansari has a few episodes in there where he hits home like the Asian actor is not wanted, and I understand that in
I
the
do too,
U.S.
'cause I
in
don't
the
want
U.S.
you.
Yeah, I know. But like in the US audience, it's just like the point is just to, instead of like trying to copy things and then whitewashing them, just make it a regular movie and maybe just cast an Asian actor, an Indian actor, a black actor instead of a white actor. You know, that's
Or
just
cast who is going to draw more people.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
You don't have to. You don't have to. That's not going to cast this person because he's a certain race. They're casting
and-
people that's going
right.
to bring the most, and I'm totally okay with that.
But so the thing is, if you're going to write a movie and you don't want it to be whitewashed, make a role that cannot be played by a white person. And a great example of that is in I don't know who's all watched the sappy fucking TV show. What the fuck is it called now? Me and my wife watch it. Hold on.
Sell out.
God damn it.
I'm gonna guess
Well,
This Is Us.
This Is Us. Thank you.
I
Andrew.
guessed
couldn't
it,
Oh
think
yeah.
of
yeah, no, totally.
This Is Us. Randall, the brother in the family, he's an adopted black kid. That part could not have been played by a white person. It was written for a black person to be played from the perspective of a black kid growing up in a white adopted family. Like that's you can't change that.
But he's
he
also
even
not the main
acknowledged it.
character.
He's
He's one of the main
absolutely one
ones.
of the lead characters.
Yeah.
They're all co-leads. There's not one specific that gets more screen time than the other. They're all co-leads. But he even acknowledged when he won an award for his acting in this show that this was written for a black person. It couldn't have been played by someone else. It couldn't have been portrayed by someone else. That's what people need to do. So
They
that
need to-
way
they
you
need to
can't
hone
write a
in on their
movie
writing.
and then
Totally.
people like Jason said, if you're just gonna write some random movie that doesn't mean anything, yeah, you're just gonna cast whoever the fuck brings the most seats to the theater. Excuse me for my stuttering. Don't write those movies. If you want to write a meaningful movie, or not even a meaningful movie, write a movie that can't be portrayed by a whitewashed crew. That's the problem with Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I
And then
think that's
they've just
going back to the original point. That's why they're trying to overcompensate now with what has to be a female director for Black Widow.
Oh, is that what we're initially talking about? Okay.
Exactly. Bring it all
We
back.
kind of went on a tangent, but it all correlates. It all goes back.
Bring it all
together.
back, guys.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
an hour later, it'll correlate. Yeah.
I mean, and it's not just actual acting films. It's also happening in cartoons too, because they just attacked The Simpsons for the
Apu.
Abu. Yeah,
Yeah, a poo.
stating that he is
Apu
being
with
A poo, not Aladdin's a boo. A poo.
Ah, boo.
Kung Fu, whatever, man.
There's a U in there somewhere.
Rice.
Kung Fu. Let's go play some Kung Fu.
they're attacking him for his Asian descent, and we're not talking about China and Japan. We're talking about India and stuff like that, which is wrapped up in Asia. So they're going after him for, I guess, his accent or the way that he portrays the character. And
Yeah, it's an
and
extremely.
he's actually kind of against it compared to Simpsons going, or the creators of Simpsons going, yeah, if you have a problem with it, don't watch it.
Well,
so-
but that's
Perfect
to me.
response.
That's To me, that's the way the Simpsons should say it. They're not a show to
True.
make
They've been
people
around
happy.
for
The
what,
same way with South
35
Park.
years?
That's the way
South Park
everyone
does the
should
same
say it.
shit.
If you don't like it, don't watch it. Oh well.
Yeah,
Well,
and it is.
I
And
get to an extent. Eventually, it is
No,
just offensive, and it's not a show.
It's just, everything's too PC now. Like, oh, everyone has an opinion. Now let me go on Facebook and write my opinion.
We
I
are
agree a
falling
lot.
off the
Oh,
deep end.
sure.
Yeah, we're getting
Sorry.
way into
I'm just,
stuff.
I'm just saying that it's not all about just actors themselves. It also can be cartoons. It can be anything that people are just getting too PC about.
I think we're just all saying, give it, whoever does the best with it, give them the job. I think
Yes.
we're all down with that
And
statement.
Bryce is saying, not a woman.
Are
All
we?
right.
did not say
Not a
that.
woman, and go do your kung fu.
Yeah, isn't that what I was saying? Because
Now, if you make Black Widow a man, I'm gonna be pissed, and I'm not gonna go see that.
Listen, Machete don't take no shit. Okay.
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
damn right. You're damn right. He should be in the Denzel role.
He should.
uh,
All right.
Alright.
All right.
Instead of Spy Kids.
We're
But
calling
anyways.
He was really good in. Okay, I'm fucking.
go.
Yeah, don't trigger me, damn it.
Because, he gets real triggered real quick. Okay, we got to get through this last topic real quick. I think it's going to be a real quick topic. God of War, great game. Got a 95 on Metacritic and a 9.2 out of 10 user score. Those are great marks. It is the best scored game of the year so far on Metacritic. It's also been ranked by Metacritic as the number one PC game of 2018, or PS4 rather, game of 2018. Number one most discussed PS4 game of 2018 and the most shared PS4 game of 2018. Those are all awards by Metacritic. Obviously, it made some pretty big waves. It was an awesome game. But a little bit interesting article on Forbes by Paul Tassi. Sorry, I butchered the name, pal. Not that you're ever going to see this. Game of the year, automatic, was what he said. He said maybe with a chance of Red Dead Redemption 2 beating it out. But he also said that he thinks it could be one of the greatest games of all time.
You can't say that in the same sentence. Greatest game of all time, but maybe a couple months. Excuse me.
Well, so he said while we don't know the quality of releases throughout the rest of the year yet, and there's still one potential monster in the form of Red Dead Redemption 2 still to come, God of War has proven itself to be an extraordinary, no matter what it ends up competing against. So basically he's saying it's probably game of the year, but he can't tell if they did Red Dead Redemption 2 right. So
How do you classify game of the year? Is it by sales? Is it by popularity? Because I mean, a game of I would assume
there's like
if
30
Kingdom Hearts
game of the
3
year
came out,
awards,
that is my game
so.
of the year, no matter what.
Well,
Well,
that's a
right.
fanboy talking.
I know, but what is a score?
It's such a terrible game.
What do they have to score?
They're scoring the gameplay, they're scoring the graphics, they're scoring the plot, and then they're scoring like all the little side details, like side quests, possibly
I think Game of the Year
collectibles.
is a trivial award when there's 15 of them.
It all depends.
IGN does one, Kotaku does one.
Well, that's why you go to your
claim.
specific.
E3 do one, but that's what I'm saying is it's pointless if everybody does one. It's just like, well, my guy said this.
So is there a
Okay,
standard?
cool.
Do we know? if
Well,
there's
do
a
you
standard?
feel that way with like Golden Globes and Oscars and all that? Like,
Yeah, I
there's
think they're all retarded.
okay. You
I
think
they're
all awards
I think
are
all the
okay?
actors are patting themselves.
Well,
on
I
the
think
back,
they're
going, "Hey, I did
retarded when
really
there's
good this year."
37 different awards that shows you can get nominated for and win something.
Well, see, that's
They're all
what the
competing
Game
against-
Awards is trying to bring to the table. Like, hey, this is our Oscars right here. Like, that's what they're trying to do. So
to
far,
me,
it's been
There
okay.
should be a standard then, right? There's got to be a standard that whether you're IGN or whatever,
If
there has
there's
to be
not
a
even a
standard
standard
score.
fucking scoring of games when they come out. You can't even. There's 1 through 10. There's 1 through 100. There's 1 through 50. There's 1 out of 5 stars. Like they all.
It's like
score
I guess it's like
differently.
watching that TV show we had back in the day with she's an actress, complete actress now.
She's an actress. Nice.
She's Psylocke.
That makes
Remember
sense.
that?
Well,
Attack
again,
of the Show?
Attack of the Show.
IGN has
Oh, yeah.
74 different people, and they all will give someone a different score. So
And they all suck PS4's dick. So.
Now,
Are you-
I guess so.
Yeah,
Use
just gonna-
IGN.
then it's gonna be
So-
quick. So let's go next topic.
Well, I mean, hold on. So no. So I disagree with greatest of all time. Still, I still think it's Ocarina of Time.
So
And
he-
I still
he
think
was-
so far I still think Last of Us is better, but I still need to beat God of War.
I think that was more of a provocative statement. I don't think he really thinks it's the greatest of all time. So he says here, perhaps this may fade in time, but for now, I certainly would put God of War in the same pantheon as some of my other all-time favorite story-based games: Mass Effect 2, Last of Us, The Witcher 3. So basically, it's his opinion. He doesn't have anything credible besides he really, 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 really enjoyed the game. That's him saying this is why I think it's greatest of all time. And he already saying it may fade in time. Okay, if it's like you can't even back it up like now, you're just saying, who knows? Maybe in time. When you played The Last of Us, Andrew, did you think, this will be shit in 20 years?
No,
Exactly.
I thought, man, whenever I want to go through this game, I'm gonna love it every time.
Right. And so if he's already in this article, just like, it's the greatest of all time. I mean, maybe. It's okay. But I love the 35 hours that I put into it. It's just such a flip floppy article with no like anything behind it to give it any kind of driving force of why it would be the greatest of all time.
Well, for like my personal games that I could play all the time, you get that urge to replay it, even though you've already beaten it like 3 or 4
Right.
times. Like for me, I can always every once in a while go through BioShock. I can always go through Final Fantasy VIII. I can always go through Last of Us. I can go through Ocarina of Time.
Those replayable games. Those
and
are
and the whole Halo
that
series.
classify.
Yes. So
And see
it,
that- and
If
that's
you play it once and you never want to pick it up again because you're like, no replayability, then it is not a game of the year. It's not a game of all time. It's none of that.
well, so I'm already into the point where I can see myself playing this game again if I had time. It's just
but
it's so much.
It's not like you have to play this game again.
Right. I don't think it's going to be one of those ones where I'm just like, I need to play this again. Like the other day, I literally thought to myself, hey, I want to play BioShock. Like I literally just thought that to myself. Like that's how much BioShock has been ingrained into my gaming experience, where it's just out of the blue, hey, I just want to play BioShock.
Great
And that's
series
why
to
I
play,
just
by the
think-
way, Jason.
I think game of the year
I've
is
heard
just
of
such a it's just such a trivial thing. Like everybody has a different opinion.
The thing is, it's
There's
a good
no way
game.
to
It's
Yeah,
gonna be-
absolutely. It is a
yeah.
good game.
Everybody agrees.
It's worth
Unanimously.
checking out. We'll go with that.
Yeah, unanimously, it's a good game.
Okay, so let's get into our topic of the week.
Oh shit, we haven't even done that yet.
Yeah, I know. So,
Trying to put the
hey,
foot in
we've
gas
been gone for a lot longer than usual. We haven't we've been gone for like 3 or 4 weeks instead of the 2. But so let's get into our eSports talk. So I'm gonna bring out. I guess everyone has a different esport they're into. It seems like here. So let's start with Matt because I know at least. Yeah, we're starting with you.
The worst.
I know you're particularly a bigger fan than the rest of us on League of Legends and that
Indeed.
whole esport environment. What does that bring to the table for you, and how does that do you feel the way you do about that like you do with real sports? And what kind of differences do you see?
Yes, I absolutely feel the same as I do with real sports, specifically with my team. Right, my team is my team. I root for them all the time. When they lose, I'm yelling in my room, and my wife gets mad at me. And then when they win, I make her high five me, and she looks at me like I'm an idiot, probably because I am. But regardless, I do that same thing when real sports come on. But no one would look at me oddly for that, obviously. But not only do I love this sport, it's the best esport. Just want to put that out there. And not only do I think it's the best esport, numbers think it's the best esport, and I'm going to go into that a little bit. Anybody just guess the ranking of total channel views for League of Legends?
Oh, in the
Guess
multi-million.
in the
No,
billions.
just out of not even like number, like compared to everybody else, where it ranks.
Compared to everybody else, well, you have to understand
Every other Twitch channel.
I mean, it probably has the top 5, or top
is-
top two.
It is number one viewed channel on Twitch.
Wait, just
Yeah.
wait
All
the
time. Number one viewed
The-
channel on Twitch.
Yeah, that's not surprising at all. For
And
sure.
it is also the number one eSports channel viewed on Twitch monthly. By a long shot.
Well, how much are the tournaments? Don't they have like $10 million tournaments?
I have no idea, but nobody knows the cash prizes except for the teams. We don't really. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you what the last cash prize was.
What? I thought the big tournaments drew like $10 million
I have no idea.
for the players for the cash out. They don't. say
Maybe.
that?
No idea. It's
Really?
not broadcasted.
yeah
I'm trying to be big
the
and
numbers
try to
aren't
find it.
really broadcasted.
And brings me to another point. We don't need that. We don't need. Oh my God, this is for fucking $20 million, like all the other channels do. We don't need that. Why? Because it already has a crowd that draws in every fucking time it gets turned on. Every time.
Yeah, when Tyler won, got which I hate that, but when he got unbanned, how many people did he have? 400 something thousand
A
people.
lot. Yeah, absolutely.
Just
A lot.
to play the game at a low level,
Yep.
a very low level. Yeah.
Not a very low level. He's like top 5% of the community.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, as far as like talent,
Yeah.
he's a twat. But as far
Yeah.
as his actual ability, he's I think above the top 5% of the game
Oh,
in
damn.
North America.
But just a random streamer, no sponsor, no nothing. Well, probably has sponsors on that, but 450,000, just that was crazy.
Toxicity tells it all.
Uh,
So I'm just gonna go through some monthly averages of different e-leagues and kind of what they bring to the table. So Overwatch League had 14 million monthly average views. Let's see, E-League, which is majorly Counter-Strike, 355,000 monthly views. This is an average, obviously. Which one is this? This is DreamHack, also a Counter-Strike, 9 million average monthly views. Another fucking Counter-Strike, 2 million views monthly. StarLadder, which
Counter-Strike?
does Counter-Strike as well, 3 million views. Riot Games, over, what is this? 20, where's the fuck is the number? I think it's his number. Over 20 million monthly views.
Well, Counter-Strike combined altogether is actually closer than I thought it would be.
No, it is.
So you're
absolutely. And they probably would have a lot more number to back it up if they didn't divide it into 37 channels, which I don't know why they do.
Because it's different leagues, different.
Well, but that's the thing is they have NALCS and they have EULCS. They have their own specific channels, but this is just for big tournaments.
Yeah, there's a lot
So-
of big tournaments for Counter-Strike. So every month.
So I want to say this. I should have mentioned this channel to you earlier. There's also Overwatch Contenders. I don't know how much that brings in as well.
Not that much. Usually at the
I looked
highest,
through the top 50 channels on Twitch, and it wasn't.
it's not on there because
It's not on there.
usually,
Okay.
no. Usually it's got like Kongdu and it's got Runaway. It has OWL has all the best players from the contenders. That's where they got all.
Right.
And so those are the leftovers, and some of those players are coming to Overwatch League whenever people get switched out, get hurt, whatever. That's where they get them from. That's kind of
Get hurt from their fucking
From their-
carpal tunnel.
tedious clicking. But they get at the highest 15,000, but because I watch them too, they normally go around about 6,000 on a daily
Jeez.
every other
Okay.
day. So it's not it's not even comparable.
Well, I want to bring in a different esports perspective with Nick. Nick's a big fighter guy. He's big into Evo and whatnot. Like
And I thought I had an Evo channel up here. I thought I did just because I knew he did that, but I guess I didn't. I apologize.
But I want to ask your opinions. What draws that into you? Can you feel like that kind of comparison between maybe MMA and kind of like Evo fighter games and esports, and then also boxing? Like, how do you feel like you have a good grasp on the comparison of those, and what can you bring, or what can you say about that?
Yeah, growing up, of course, '90s. That's when boxing was huge, and then of course over the years, MMA, UFC that blew up. Um, I honestly think that the crowds between the two, like just watching an Evo tournament, being at an Evo tournament, whatever, it's just kind of like everything else nowadays. They turn into a big event. I want to say the last year the attendance was like around 10,000. Of course, UFC and boxing. Of course, now it's outrageous prices, but um, I wouldn't say there's much of a following though. Like, so if you bring up UFC with somebody, they'll say, "Oh yeah, well, John Jones this or whatever happened with McGregor, whatever." Or they're, with boxing, oh, we just want to see Mayweather get knocked out. People are really into it. But with the Evo tournament, I think it's probably one of the smaller in attendance for a reason because we just want to see some amazing shit. Granted, I guess nobody in this crowd has seen it, but when I was introduced, so Evo started in like 1996. I don't remember what the original name was.
I do watch Evo.
Oh,
I
you do?
watch Evo
Okay.
whenever there's big tournaments.
So
I'll glimpse at it every once in a while.
I mean, it's pretty cool stuff to watch. If you're not into it, that's cool. But like, it's kind of cool to watch how some people do things because everybody's played something that they bring to the table. Everybody's played Street Fighter. Everybody's played Smash Bros. Everybody's played Tekken at some point. So there's that kind of relation. But it didn't really take off until about 2002, like 2002, '02 to '04 is really when it blew up. That's because there's one video that blew. That's when I was introduced to it. And I think I don't know if I showed Andrew this video, but it was a big moment between these two guys. Of course, two Asians, typical. One was from America, one was from Japan.
Crazy
Of
rich
course, they
Asians.
had, of course, and they kind of had, to make that correlation. You have your, I guess your nemesis, your rival teams, your rival fighters. McGregor, Mayweather kind of thing. There are these two guys. Everyone considered them rivals, and they did a match. Whatever. Long story short, it was one of the most amazing things that happened in the fighting game circuit. Where, long story short, this guy, he had like just like a pixel of health left, and then right when he was about to wipe the floor with the guy, finished up the match, and this was the last match. This is what won the match. The guy with just the barely amount of health, he parried like 15 hits, and these are like milliseconds. Like you have to anticipate.
Street Fighter,
Anyways,
right?
say what?
There's Street Fighter.
Yeah, that Street Fighter clip with Chun Li and everything. But anyways, it was amazing. And back in when I was a mall rat, back in my day, back in my youth, we used to do little, arcade tournaments and stuff like that, and it was cool to get everyone hyped up. And I mean, it's like every other event you go to. But as far as streaming wise, I mean, I'll watch it when it happened. I don't really keep up with it now too much, but yeah, you can make some comparisons, but at the same time, it's just kind of its own thing. If you're into it, it's cool. If you're not into it, it's cool because I mean, you've seen some of those, like for example, the Smash Bros. Melee. I didn't get into it that much, Smash Bros. But watching some of these guys play the game
Ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. It's like, man, I wish I could do that. I don't wish I could cure cancer. I wish I could play Melee. You make that right? But yeah.
It's intense watching those. Like they're at 200%, and they're hitting each other off the map, 50 feet off the side, and they're saving it every time. You're like, oh,
they're honestly some of the most technical games.
Yes.
Like to be at that level, it's in my opinion, Smash Bros is the top of that. It's just such a technical game that it's just like it blows my mind.
But that's
Like,
also why it's on the lower end.
That's
What do you
why
mean?
it's what?
Yeah, I could see that. It's a lot more difficult to get into. There's a lot less people that are
The learning curve
gurus at it.
to get great
Yeah.
at fighting games, because it's not learning how to place your cursor and aim and walk out and strafe. Like a
I
shooting.
really think that's probably in any type of gaming, that's probably the greatest skill gap.
I
Yes,
agree.
yes,
It's
but
learning one character in and out, because most of these pros have probably at least top 2 or 3 characters they know front and back to play, and so but they have to know every single move, every single break, every single counter, and they do to even make it to the top 1,000.
and I think that's why League kind of teeters on the balance of technical skill and kind of a little bit easier to get into. It teeters on the top, and that's probably or on both sides. That's probably why it has
And I
the
think
most fan base. But everyone usually comes in on like first person shooters. I first heard about everything with Halo and MLG, and it was all
MLG.
shooters.
Yeah, game battles.
Yeah, it was
that
all
my first
shooters.
introduction to
I think
actual e-league, like esports.
Right.
I think with League, luckily though, the fact that they do consistently buff and debuff and stuff like that keeps stuff fresh.
Right, and
I don't even
Gamers on
I
their
don't even
toes.
think this discussion should necessarily talk about the gameplay. I think
True.
it should
No, I
specifically
mean,
be said in like
but for esports, I mean,
why
you can't
this
really buff
esport is
Smash
better
Bros,
than the rest.
right?
well,
No, but they do.
Smash
They
Bros,
do.
they do? Okay, I didn't know they do
They,
that.
not as frequent as League obviously would, but there's issues and things that are unbalanced that they have to fix. Like
Yeah.
for
Like every game.
I think it was Smash Bros. Not 64 Melee. They had to they couldn't ever use. I think it was Roy or Marth, one of them, because one of their moves was just so broken.
it's
it
probably
was,
Roy.
couldn't do anything.
Roy was
yeah,
so
I think
good.
I think it was
Yeah,
Marth.
that Roy-
Fighting games, I want to say they're one of their go-tos is instead of patching or
They just ban
debuffing,
it
they
from
just
the tournament. You
yeah,
can't use it.
you can't use Meta Knight, can't use Roy, can't use Martha, whoever it was. Yeah, they just banned that character. They just cut him out of the
So
play. completely.
that's just their way of fixing it
Handle
for
it.
the tournaments.
But
Yeah.
okay, I just looked up these statistics for esports viewing. Right now, 2018, per year, it's about 200 something million overall. Actually, more than that. Sorry, 375 million. I looked at the wrong number. But they estimate by the year 2020 that it's going to be almost $600 million, 600 million people taking part and watching esports. And
Sports
so,
in some form or
in
fashion.
sports in some fashion, yeah. And so that, what is that? Was like 40 million per month or so.
What does that compare to
And
regular sports?
What I have, and I have NBA pulled up right here, and the average watch per month on NBA is 20 million.
Holy crap! So esports is already winning, probably because it's easier to do and it's free.
And people actually can do it. Like you can, I can sit here and
like anyone, like you have more of a shot being an esports pro than a actual sports pro.
I can sit here and play the exact same setup my favorite character plays
I don't
professionally.
I don't know if that's entirely true, Andrew.
What do you mean?
Like you said that you have a better chance of being an esports pro than a normal athlete pro.
Why?
I bet they're pretty comparable. You got to think about it. In today's day and age, how many more kids are playing video games than they are playing sports?
Probably
I'd say
more
it's pretty
people.
comparable.
I think
more games.
slowly more people are just playing games.
Exactly. That's my point, though. And if you take the entirety of all people that play video games to the amount that go pro, I bet it's a comparable number.
Okay, so you're saying
The
that's
percentage.
You're saying that the ratio is about the same, but that still doesn't. It's still people think they have a better chance of being an esports pro than a regular sports pro because you don't have to work out. You don't have to physically. You don't have to work out.
Physical demand.
Right.
Sure.
It's more mental and everything. But even Cowboys Giants last year had one of the best had a second best rating besides the Cowboys Broncos last year. It was 25 million people watched that game, and so which is a lot, obviously. But in the next coming up years, esports going to be creeping up to those numbers. And so now, when I said that's like $40-something million, 40 million people per month, that's not. They didn't base that out per month. That's going to have its super high peaks with all the big tournaments. And then the consistent, because it says the consistent people per year is going to be about 215 million.
But
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I think what also something comparable between sports and esports, you have your stars that bring in the people. Like with Tom Brady, people consider him, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. They have stars in esports. They consider Walshy one of the best Halo 2 players of all time. He had some insane clips of him just getting some killtaculars and a bunch of stuff, and Killionaires, and it's just the way, like, you need these single people that are so good at the game to shine and attract all these people because they're playing at such a high level. Because ultimately, for me, I know I want to be as good as I can, but there's a point where I know that I just fall off because as you get older, you lose your kind of reflexive skills, hand-eye coordination as you get older.
Speak for yourself.
Next
But it's just like you have these stars that are so good that like do highlight clips, and then they're like, man, I want to see more about this sport or this esport. Like there's
you also have to remember the teams too, not just individuals.
well, that's the
But
thing. It's the individuals right now. I didn't know a lot of people outside
I
of
knew TSM
Halo.
before I knew TSM before I knew any of the individuals.
Well, that's the thing. I knew about I forget his name, the main mid laner on TSM. What for League? Who Bjergsen? Is that right, Matt?
Sounds close.
Bjergsen.
Sounds right.
Bjergsen. Yeah. I knew about him first, then before TSM. I knew he was their mid laner. He was their best player. That's what I knew.
And he wasn't even on the team for the first two seasons of league. So
Right, and it's just like it's about like for during esports right now, it's about these big singular individuals that are so good, and then that you find out, oh, they're on a team. Oh, let's find out who else is on this team. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like right now, I think it's Mythic who does Fortnite. I heard about Mythic before I even knew.
TSM Myth, yeah.
Yeah, Myth. Yeah, I knew about Myth before I even knew he was on TSM. Like, hey, I was like, hey, do you know about Myth? I'm like, oh, who's Myth?
The thing is,
Is
he
that
was a popular streamer before he was on TSM.
Right, yeah, and see, the thing about esports is it's not about establishing the team first sometimes. Or in the
But
yeah.
let me hold on before we do that. I think it's really dependent on the game though, because my esports experience was World of Tanks, and it's a game. It's a team style game.
Uh-huh.
I know y'all make fun of.
No.
That's where my first introduction to esports was. And there's a group called Elevate. I could not tell you one single name of any of the people on there. I know them as Elevate, and that is their team name, and I root for them.
Yeah,
They're
but
some of the
then
best
you-
people, and they're currently looking into the newest Halo patch. Apparently, that's been going on, and they're going into the Halo World Championship. So now I have two games that I can follow this one team on and
Is
root
it
for.
the same players?
Yeah, same players.
Now that's
how do
weird.
How do you not know the players on your team?
Because I don't watch them like religiously, so I don't.
Oh, you're not a
I
fan,
didn't. I
okay.
did not. Find them via, I did
Well,
not find them via their individual personas.
Sure, you found.
them
I
as a
didn't
group.
find Bjergsen before. I found TSM.
I-
'Cause
I
I
have-
started playing. I
I
started
have
playing
heard of
League,
Bjergsen, though.
and
No.
then
That's just
I
because
started
of me.
watching League videos, and then TSM had this, I guess, like documentary about them for the first. I think it was the second or third season of. It was the second season of the league of the LCS, and
Yeah.
that's why I found Bjergsen wasn't even on the team yet. You know
I
what I
mean,
mean? So
So I don't think it's these big names carrying the teams. I think they draw a lot of interest. Like Siegel draws a lot of interest, but he's a streamer first.
Well, it's
Yeah,
like
he-
Doc. It's like Doctor Disrespect.
Yeah, but
or-
he's not gonna be on a team. He's all
He's
in it
not,
for
but
himself.
He's his own person. True.
if Ninja
But again,
gets
it comes
picked up
down
by a Fortnite team, you're gonna know who that is.
He's already on Luminosity.
Is he actually?
Well, he's always been with Luminosity, and if they
I
do,
had no idea.
yeah, if they do a some sort of tournament for a team, he's gonna play for Luminosity. But
Yeah, but you don't know him as Luminosity at all because I didn't
No.
even know that, and I
I
watched
just Ninja.
Ninja. But
well,
but going back to saying, I don't think it's individual people, the big names, like they're not quarterbacks of their team, and so it's more of a team effort than
Majority. I'd say majority.
I really
of
do
esports is
think
like
it
that.
is dependent on the game, though, right? Because if there's games that specialize on a single person, like what we watch mostly, then yes, we're gonna know those people, no problem. And then when they join their team, we're rooting for the team, but we're also rooting for that specific person.
Yeah.
Compared to some
Counter-Strike
games, like I
had that a
said,
lot.
Yeah, Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike, you have an entire team that you know who they are, but you knew them as a team first, and then dived into individuals to see if
But
you
then
really liked their style.
but there's also there's exceptions to that rule too. Olaf Meister, one of the number one
Yep.
players in the world. If you know Counter Strike, you know Olaf Meister. You
See,
might
so
even know what team he played on.
I mean, same thing with Kerrigan.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You
that's because he was put in a spotlight, going, "Hey, he's number one." That's why you followed him. Not that that you went and sought after him, or you just happened to stumble across him. It's because the media was going, "Hey,
Well, no,
check
but
out
he
number one
did
here."
know. Like same thing with me. You did though. Jason got into CS:GO. He started watching CS:GO videos. All of a sudden, there's videos that he found on YouTube. It's like fucking Olaf Meister.
Olaf.
Like holy shit, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
no,
like I said, I think it's team dependent. I'll just put it.
And almost every team has
Not
the
team,
one
sorry.
outlier. Every team has a one outlier, most popular player. I can name probably the most popular player on all the Overwatch people. They all have one person. Agilities for San Fran, Tavik for Florida, AKM for Dallas, Jonak for whatever, for New York, Jayhong. But they all have one player that sticks out that the casters rave about, the casters stick on. And so that's going to draw the crowd more often. But if that one person is playing great, team sucks, they're not going to go anywhere. So,
Yeah.
But to get back to the esports point, I think esports is kind of somewhat the future.
It's in its bubble growing stages, and
Right
kind
now,
of in
yeah.
its cocoon.
So it's hard for me to say it's the future because I don't know what we're comparing it to. I don't think normal sports are going away within the next 20 years.
No, but normal sports are going down.
Certain normal sports
are going
are
down.
going
I'll
down.
agree to that.
Even football is going down, and that
But
is
the same aspect is the same aspect esports like CS:GO. It's not as popular as it was 5 years ago. It's just not. It's going down. It was one of the big esports. It was one of the main big esports. It's not really prominent
now that
anymore.
esports
is
expanded, now that it's expanded, they're going, well, we have like these 60 other games we can do esports on. So it took away the spotlight compared to where CS:GO when it first came out. It didn't really have a whole lot of competitors.
That's true.
And I remember that back in the day. I mean, I used to read magazines where they're like, "Hey, come watch the pros play," and I was like, I always strived. I want to be like this person, and I want to go do that. But esports wasn't around then, so you didn't really have that unless you went and found a magazine that said so. Right?
Yeah, that's true. The reason it's so prevalent now is just because of the internet streaming phase. Because if we didn't have that, if this was 10 years ago, and we had all these games, esports wouldn't be a thing like it is now. Because like right now, I'm sitting here watching League as I'm talking to y'all. I mean, Overwatch League, and so it's just even Buffalo Wild Wings shows all of the Counter-Strike. They have a contract with Buffalo Wild Wings.
Well, and not even just Buffalo Wild Wings. It's on cable television.
Yeah, they have their own channel.
So it's just like it's definitely stepping into the spotlight. I just think one of the biggest things that esports needs to stop doing if it wants to be taken seriously is stop trying to make games that aren't really that competitive and make them an esport.
PUBG.
It's a problem. PUBG. It's a casual competitive game. It's not structured for a huge league or what the fuck ever.
Yeah, you can have tournaments and have fun.
Yeah, that's fine. But like LAN tournaments, don't make it fucking this big event. Like they tried doing that with Splatoon. Like, come on, guys. Like, really? You think Splatoon's gonna take off and be the next big esport? Give energy to the esports that
deserve it and need it.
Are not even deserve it, but are made for it. You know what I mean?
I'm assuming you're wanting more structured. Here's a map, and these are the only outcomes you can have compared to the randomness of PUBG.
No.
Well, too.
I don't want that. I don't need a set outcome. What I want is a game like League of Legends or Counter-Strike. These are the competitive of the competitive type of computer games.
Right, but I think what Bryce is saying is like the map is not RNG. It's the same map. It's not going to dictate where you're you already know where you're playing.
The same weapons
but to counter that point, I 100% think that Fortnite could be a huge esport. I do. I
Well,
absolutely
if
think
Fortnite
that.
can, then PUBG can. I don't
No.
I
understand.
don't. Absolutely
No.
not.
No, they cannot.
How?
And what's the difference for
What is
you?
the difference? I'm lost on this.
One's captivating and one's not.
Yes.
One literally
If your favorite
engrossed an
team or your
entire
favorite
community.
players on Twitch right now play a game, are you not going to go watch them? No matter what
That's irrelevant.
what they're playing?
I'm sure you
No,
have
no,
people
no.
that
It's
you
not
watch.
irrelevant because you're saying
No,
that if
well,
I'm going to
let
bring
me
in
let me
people
make
to
the point.
esports, if I'm going to bring people in esports, I'm going to have my big guys up. Well, guess what? Team TSM comes in, Doctor comes in, all of them come in to play
TSM
PUBG.
has a
Guess what you're
Counter-Strike.
going to do? You're going to sit there and go watch
Not anymore, they don't.
esports.
TSM had a
Yeah.
Counter-Strike team. I gave absolutely zero fucks.
Okay, so it's game based. Why would I not give the same amount of attention to PUBG if I'm going to give the same amount of attention to Fortnite, which are the
Because
two exact games?
one's interesting to watch and one's not.
So that the thing about PUBG is that can be remedied in a
Yes.
sense.
If you put
Was
they
it
put the
remedied when
effort
you
into
played it
it.
today or yesterday?
No,
Did it
no,
feel
no.
like it
I'm
was
just
more
saying it can be remedied if you want it to be like Fortnite. I still think Fortnite is too RNG based to be. It's less RNG based because the map's smaller. You can get to places easier. You have easier ways to get into the circle and control your area than PUBG because PUBG is just way too big. But
Well,
there
Whether
certain
it's optimized either. What it sounded like the argument that started was that if the game is not structured and it has an RNG element to it,
it won't make it good.
it won't make an esport.
That's not what I said. I said give games that are meant to be competitive games. Like
Okay,
the
well then
competitive of the
what
competitive.
game is meant to be? What is your standard on what a game is meant to
Well,
be?
Counter-Strike was meant to be the competitive of the competitive.
Rainbow
No,
Six
Dota-
Siege.
Dota is a
was a
competitive
fun
game.
team versus team match. That's all it was.
Sure.
There is no games that were originally meant to be esports because esports
No,
is
yeah.
after.
Yeah.
But there's games that fit the esport criteria. But
Yeah.
you can't have randomness in esports.
And that's
I
why
don't agree. I
and
think-
that's why I
I think
think
RNG games cannot make it.
I think
And
if
I
your game
agree
is
with that
captivating
statement.
You
I think
cannot
if your
have
game is captivating enough, it could make it.
no. But I mean, you physically can't have randomness in because you take away the skill. Then, oh, that guy got a gold scar. I have a gray R. Oh,
But does
well,
it take away
sure.
the skill? If you're a good enough player, you will
No.
find a way to
If-
win.
if
No,
if
I
they're
don't agree
all
with
the
that.
top 0.1% of the players and one has a gold scar and one has a gray R
and they're doing 2 to 3 more damage than you per hit.
more than that for the gold for
Is
that
it?
amount of-
Okay, I
Yeah.
wasn't too
Okay.
sure.
So I know that we have the randomness in our games, but if they want to put the game on esports, could they not do what y'all did with Smash Bros, right? Where hey, we ban this, or hey, we tell the company they need to tweak the code so that all weapons do the same amount.
Then yes, that would be
But
that
then
would
it wouldn't. Then it
But
wouldn't
then
be
it wouldn't
fun.
be
It
fun.
wouldn't be interesting.
Then it wouldn't
Then
be
wouldn't
fun.
be fun or interesting. Okay, so I'm
I
trying to figure
disagree.
out what am I
I
supposed
disagree.
to do with you on this? I can't.
I don't know. What I'm saying is PUBG and Fortnite should not be esport games.
Okay, so
Battle
anything-
Royale.
I
yeah.
don't. I don't think they should be either. I'm saying that if they wanted to make Fortnite a game that they had streamed every week with tournaments, it would absolutely make it.
I agree as well, but
I'm not saying it's. I don't think it should be. I think
in its
I
current
think it could make
iteration
it.
right now from PUBG and Fortnite, Fortnite has a way better chance to
Because
be
overall, it's
esports.
generally better
It's
to
overall
watch.
Better game.
It's a better game, but the way things are, it's not just go hide behind a rock and shoot. It's the skill base about building and everything is more captivating to watch. But
Yes,
you would have
I
to
would
do
agree
so.
with that.
You would have to do so much to the game to make it an actual official esport. Like take
Agreed.
out the randomness of the tiers of the guns because you literally can't have that because that takes out the skill base, and
Okay.
that's what esports is about: is skill based gameplay.
Is
If
100%
that's what
skill.
if that is what they're saying, maybe they need to split esports into two, right? Where hey, we have RNG games and hey, we have skill games.
No, that can't.
And
You can't. I mean,
Nah,
but the thing is, what they're trying to do right now is captivate all audiences. So if a person wants to go watch PUBG, they can go watch PUBG. If they want to watch Splatoon, which is, I don't know why, they could go watch Splatoon. It's not hurting anybody because it's up to the game makers to make them esports ready.
it's not hurting anybody, but you're hurting the game if you're trying to push it to be something it's not.
You're
Yes.
not. You're getting it
You
in the
absolutely
spotlight.
are.
No,
You're
But-
not.
it's not
Because in
hurting
your-
a damn thing. Unless
wasting
unless
everybody's
it's not
time
working,
when it's a waste.
if
Whenever-
it's not working live, then yeah, we got a problem. But as long as you're able to play the game, everybody that's in it is competing, they're having fun, and we have an end result on a team or a person that wins, we have done our job as esports.
No, I
Esports
think
aren't fun for the team.
the PUBG.
They're fun
Well,
for the viewers.
No, the PUBG, PUBG trying to go esports. They've done it. They've had huge tournaments trying to make it esports-ish. I think that didn't help the game because there's a team that camped out in the water for an hour. And
The circle ended up and half of it was in the water. Yeah.
And they got second place or something, and everybody's like just sitting here, just commenting Z. Just
No,
it's
and I get that.
literally boring to
I get that.
watch. And that didn't help the team at all. That didn't help the game
They
at all.
didn't help the game at all.
Not even a
But
little.
that
It
should
hurt
be
the
up,
game.
but that really should be up to the game makers to go, hey, we realize our game isn't made for this. We're going to pull it off the esport market.
But they're not. They're
Again,
trying to do it even more.
That's fine. Hey, if Bluehole wants to do it, let them freaking do it. I don't care. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. We've had this conversation.
I know, but that's not our point we're making. We're saying would it be in the
But it's not hurting esports themselves. It is not hurting them in any way because they're going, hey, we have all these games that you guys want to watch. Come watch them if you want to watch them. That gives us money because we're able to do ads, all this crap. It's not hurting anybody.
It hurts.
If it is going to hurt somebody,
because
it's
they're
going to hurt the
losing
game
money
company.
trying to push it to be something it's not.
Then that is their freaking problem. Let me put it that way. It is the game's problem if they have that. That's all I can say. I don't know why you're going, well, they just should not be. You can't tell a
shouldn't be.
company you just can't be because, well, I don't like your game.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to go to our final thoughts. We did a lot of tangents today. This is
Yeah,
gonna
we
be a
did.
long one, so I just want some final thoughts from everyone about esports. Your overall opinion. Do we all think it's the thing of the future? I'm pretty sure we all think yes. But any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I think esports, if it keeps on going the way it's going now and growing the way it's going, it's only going to go up, in my opinion. Regular sports are kind of dropping off. I'm not like a nosedive, but just with all the bullshit with the sit-outs and politics and everything, esports has its fucking drama, Twitter beefs, everything like that, dude. Like, oh my god, Overwatch is gonna get ridiculous with all that stuff. But to me, I used to be a sports fan, but I can't get enough of esports right now, especially Overwatch.
And price point, right?
And so,
Yeah, you don't have to pay
opinion,
$40 to watch it.
No, yeah, it's all 100% free, for me. And so, for now, for sure, yeah. And I can see a point where they will charge for stuff, but at the moment, I think its future. There's a lot of money. And we didn't even talk about the aspect of actual team owners buying esports teams, because they see the value in it, and that's a lot of them. And so, it's only going up for me, and I hope it keeps on going up and keeps on improving in aspects that we can all enjoy. So, out.
Go TSN.
All right. Well,
Yes, I agree with the things.
let's end it there. Where can we catch you guys outside of the podcast? Nick, where can we catch you?
At the movie theater watching Avengers.
Nice. What about you, Matt?
Right here next time.
Right here next time. Bryce?
Twitch TV / the Monkey Boy. TX the Monkey Boy, sorry.
And then what about you, Jason?
Catch me on Twitch. Still trying to get my stream up and going. It's getting there eventually one day. But if I ever push the stream button, TX Animal at twitch.tv.com.
All
and
right.
Entertainment at Facebook.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all for listening. You can catch me, Andrew, twitch.tv/ TXARich. We're going to be back soon with hopefully some Infinity War talk. So catch us outside for that. And
Catch us outside. How about that?
Terrible.
yeah, you know it. And see us next time on facebook.com/Rewind Entertainment Podcast. See you guys next time. Bye.
See you.
Boy.